What is up, guys and girls, and welcome to episode 3 of the Best of Rivals. The last episode we left in 2025, I believe. George Wilson had left Man United and joined Lazio, and Bert had left Man City and joined Arsenal. So let's see if there's any difference since then. We're on 2030 now, so we are about 10, 11 years ahead. So we're gonna probably go from there to then we'll go another 10 years ahead in the next episode. If you hear any noise, it's pretty windy outside, so that's what it is. I can't help the weather. I just can't. It's not something I can do. Hopefully it won't disturb us too much. Let's go and have a look at George first. George Wilson, and he seems to be unemployed. Well, that's weird. It's not good. Okay. He did leave Lazio after 4 years. We'll have a look at that. I wonder what's going on there. So he's only just unemployed. He's just unemployed. He was at FC Bayern for 2 years. So that's quite interesting. So he's just left Lazio. Let's have a look and see. So he was sacked as manager of FC Bayern. Okay. We don't want to go that far back. Okay, so let's have a look at at Lazio, because he'd won the Italian Cup in 2025 at Lazio. Is that one there? So this is where we finished off. He finished 4th that season. Okay, so 25, 26. They won the Italian Cup again. Finished 5th, so one place lower. Knocked out by Valencia in the quarterfinal of the European Cup. Okay. Still holding the Italian Super Cup 3 years later. So they're winning that every year. But they finished 5th in Serie A, so that's the same. No progression from last year. Knocked out in the second round of the Euro Cup against Roma, so that's not as good. Knocked out in the Italian Cup quarter-final this time in 28. So they won it 3 years in a row by the looks of it, and then Juventus knocked them out in the quarter-final, sorry. And they finished 6th. So not much progression at Lazio. He got sacked that season. You can see why. They've dropped 2 places in the league. They're getting knocked out earlier in the European Cup, and they're not even holding on to the Italian Cup anymore. Not even really doing that well. Only getting to the quarter final this time. But they won it 3 years in a row. So as we can have a look at not awards, what would it be? Competitions, landmarks. There we go. So 25, 26, 27. Italian Super Cup, Italian Cup. Oh, so it was the Italian Super Cup. Okay, not the Italian Cup. So they won that 2 years in a row, and then they won the Super Cup. Let's have a look at Bayern. They won the German Super Cup, which I think is just the Charity Shield kind of cup in Germany, I'm guessing. Let's have a look at competitions. So finished 4th. Knocked out in the semi-final of the DFB Pokal Cup. Quarter-final against Barcelona. They beat Barcelona in the European Cup and then lost in the semis to Schalke. Finished 4th. And they finished as runners-up this season. It hasn't actually said he's been sacked yet. So he must have literally just been sacked. 26th for the 5th. Yeah, so he's been sacked, 5-6 days? Still at big clubs. But he's not doing overly well. I mean, at Bayern Munich, you'd be expecting to at least be competing. I mean, they come runners up the second season. So there is definitely progression from the full finish the season before. But I guess it's the cups that aren't endearing them, because is the Europa, is that the It's the Europa League, isn't it? Euro Cup. What's the Champions League? Champions Cup. Okay, so they won against Barcelona in the Euro Cup in the quarterfinals, and in the second season they got into the Champions League because of their fourth place finish, I'm guessing, and they got knocked out by Real Madrid in the first knockout round. So that's not good, is it? They got knocked out in the first knockout round in that and come runners up. It's not a great. It's probably not what the owners want at Bayern Munich. That's the problem. If you're managing at a club like at the level of Bayern, who spend money and all that, they want returns. So I think maybe if they'd progressed a little bit further and they'd come runners up, it might not have been a bigger deal. But getting knocked out of that early in the Champions Cup, I reckon that is what sealed his fate at Bayern Munich. So we're not going to carry on and see where he ends up next. You'll have to come back for next episode to see that. But he has literally been sacked around a week ago. So he's gone from Manchester United to Lazio, and then he spent the last, I'm probably going to say, year and a half rather than 2 years at Bayern Munich. We'll have a look at his transfers. So, he's selling players. Let's go to Bayern Munich and have a look that way. Transfers. Is this? That's all transfers. We don't want that. What's going on there? Transfers, transfer history. That's all we want. Okay, so go back that season, and he's brought in. I don't know if he's brought these in. It might not have brought these ones in because that might have been before his time. But they did spend 125 million, which is what you'd expect from being a manager at Bayern Munich. They're currently second in the Bundesliga because it's the end of the season. That's where they finished last. But there's a few goings out, and they brought in 56 million from them, with the most high-profile player being Oliver Bora. Is that right? 12. Possibly Timo Kuyp. Logan Wendling is definitely the highest value, but we've got a few players going out, but some big guns coming in. Let's check out this season. He would have had full control over. He's brought in Georges McManus from Macclesfield. Okay, that might be why he's been sacked. He's literally brought someone in from Macclesfield. This guy best be like. He's on loan at Huddersfield. So they bought him from Macclesfield and then loaned him out to Huddersfield. He's valued at 2.3 million, so he's obviously half decent. I'm going to write his name down because I'm going to be checking him out when I get a chance. Because there must be a reason he's brought him in, but why has he loaned him back to Huddersfield? If he's that good to be playing, he's 24 years old. He should already be playing in the Bayern Munich team if they brought him in. Did get him on a free though, I believe. But does that make it okay? Do you go and buy players off Macclesfield if you're a Bayern Munich coach? Do Bayern Munich even know who Macclesfield are? Okay, so they've spent 105 million. So have they brought in Janis Makowski, Lars Neubauer, Luis Moriera, Marco Tejadas, Blerim Grabovci, that's definitely the way it said, yeah. So we've brought him in and loaned him straight back out to Huddersfield. I don't get that. He must have some sort of promise, but at 24 you'd think he'd be automatically straight into the first team, wouldn't you? Got a few. Alexander Isaac is out on loan. He's a promising youngster. Well, he's not a youngster. Strike that. Who do I think he is? I mean, he's 30. Okay. I'm obviously thinking of a different player. Isaacson, I think I'm thinking of. But there's not really. Lucas Hernandez has gone to West Ham. Yeah, I can sort of see why they've let him go. This is the one that stunts me, the Georges McManus. But I'm gonna do some transfer digging on him at the end because I'm unemployed in the game. I can't actually scout him to find out what he's like. So I'm definitely going to check him out because he must have some sort of promise. And to come from Macclesfield on a free, it just puzzles me a little bit. Okay, so let's move on to Bert Temple. Bert Temple. Okay, he doesn't exist. That's not good. Okay. Arsenal. He was definitely at Arsenal. He's no longer at Arsenal. Carlo Ancelotti is at Arsenal. Unless he's retired. He might have retired, which is going to suck because that means it's the end. Because he was older, wasn't he? Or was George the older one? Managers. Bert Temple. He's only 31. Okay, is he... He's unemployed. Why couldn't I find him? Bert Temple. I spelled it with a U, didn't I? Not an E. Okay, fair enough. He's unemployed as well. Crazy. And at the same time, he's literally just lost his job. We've come at a weird time. No one's in a club. But that does make for a better look at, obviously, episode 4. Because it's going to be a surprise where they're at. So that's interesting. Okay, so he is the younger one. George is the older one. They're both unemployed after 2030. Only just, because it's only going to have been a week or so since they've been sacked. 61% win ratio. We didn't look at... Let's have a quick look at George's again. There we go. No, too far. George Wilson. Overview profile. 60. So they're both roughly around the same. Let's go back to Bert Temple. So he's nearly 4 and a bit stars now. It's just... Let's go to milestones. Arsenal. So he was at Arsenal for some time. Like he was there a while. What have they won? They've won the Carabao Cup. They've won the English FA Cup. They won all these. Right. So this is the issue, isn't it? They won 4 trophies in his first season. And since then they went what 3 years without a trophy. And they won the FA Cup and the Community Shield. And then another 2 years without winning anything. So that's the issue here, isn't it? We can see, obviously, he's gone from... I mean, he's won the double domestic trophies there. He's not won the league yet, but he's won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. Then he's won only the FA Cup and the Community Shield. So he's his own worst... It's like he started so well, bringing 4 trophies in, that he's really done himself up like a kipper, really. How are they doing in other cups? Knocked out by Man City in the Carabao Cup in 2028. That's further up. Okay, so we know they won that there. Knocked out by Barcelona in the Champions League. Beat Man City in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. Obviously, they won that year. Finished 4th in the Premier League. 26. Knocked out by Brighton in the... See, it's not... Finished 5th in the Premier League. Finished 4th in the Premier League. Finished 6th in the Premier League. They won a cup, but they still finished 6th. Finished 6th again. And I guess that's where knocked out by Napoli in the European Cup second knockout round, knocked out by Chelsea in the 5th round of the FA Cup, 4th round against West Brom they won, knocked out by Man City in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. Yeah, they didn't have a great final 2 years, did they? So I think that there's not much to see here, but let's have a look at his transfers. Arsenal's transfers for his time there, and then it's pretty much we can't do anything because they're not at a club, so we don't even know what they're going to be doing next. So let's have a look at the transfer history from 2024 and see if he's brought in or sold anyone of note. So we spent 47.5 million. I don't know any of them. He's brought in 14.5 million. Kolasinac is gone to Shakhtar. Okay. I rate him. I like him as a player, to be honest. Nicolas Pepe to Real San Sebastian. That's an interesting. Oh, he is 35 to be fair. He's currently at Celtic now, but he went. You know, it's they spent a lot of money on him, didn't they? Literally just spent a lot of money on him in real life. So he's the only one who's really. So I think Kolasinac is another one. How old's he now on this? He's ahead of youth development now. And he's 37 years old. So yeah, this is the first time I've done something like this where we've gone so far ahead, and I'm looking at players like Pepe who have just spent millions and millions of pounds on going out. And it's screwing with my head a little bit, so I've got to stop doing that because obviously we're ahead in the future now, so they're not going to be the players they were now, or they are now. Confused myself. Okay, so let's move on to the next season's transfers. Again, no one. I mean, they've got some players there that are big money. Camavinga, Tantoni. Jesus Chafer. Okay, there's some big guys there. Lozek, I'm guessing that's a silent H. Anyone out? Jadon Sancho's gone to Barcelona for 103 million. How old is he in this game now? 30 years old. He's got some decent stats there, hasn't he? Some sick stats there. Okay. 127 million brought in. Okay, and most of that would be Jadon Sancho. Okay, moving on. Grimaldo from Liverpool for 35.5 million. Gonzalez, Declan Rice from West Ham. That's an interesting move. Mina. So 214 million spent, 225 million. Typical Arsenal fashion. They seem to try and be bringing as much as they're getting rid of as well. 125 million. Adrian has gone to Real Madrid for 125 million, and he's obviously a regen. But look at them. I mean, he is pretty good. He's okay. He's pretty good. I mean, yeah, I'd be happy with him. So 12 stone 6. Don't know why I've read that out, but Pepe's out on loan again. Who else have we got? 57. Lozek's gone to Chelsea. The season after, he was there for one season. He's gone to Chelsea for 57 million. How much did they? Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. He seems to be doing the rounds in the Premier League. Okay, Lucas Torreira. So some big ones there, and some basic ones. Moving on to 2027-28, 86 million brought in. Joe Whittaker from Everton. Let's check him out. Regen. Looks fairly good. I know we were only guessing, but we go in between the stats. But that's a big price to pay Everton for Joe Whittaker. And only 49 million brought in this year. So we've got Kieran, I'm guessing that is, to West Ham for 20 million. And he's basically the biggest one. Kano for 13.25 million. Okay. 19.5. So the spending's slowly going down, isn't it? We're not spending as much as we've gone on. We've had a couple of £100 to £200 million transfer windows, and now it's very modest amounts, which probably doesn't help really. Sending players to loan on Newcastle, 20 million brought in, 90 million going out. Again, in typical Arsenal fashion, 69 million going out. Gary Adams. Okay, central defender. And 120 coming in. Tadu to Southampton. Declan Rice to Sporting for 25 million. 24.5. It's just easier to say 25, isn't it? So where's the big one? 60 million there. Danny Olmo to Zebra, or as we know him. Oh, he's pretty alright, isn't he? And very, what's the word? Versatile. Very versatile. I like a versatile player. Okay. And I think that brings us to up to date. So there we go, guys. That's the story so far. They're both not at a club anymore. And I guess we'll have to wait till episode 4 to find out where they've gone. No real shocks in this episode, like there was in the last episode. They've both ended up at the end of this episode with no club. So join me in episode 4 next week to see where they end up from here. And we will go through the same things we've gone through here. And hopefully it'll be a little bit more exciting than just not really knowing what's going on. Bert so far has only been at 2 clubs, whereas George has been at 3. So he's been sacked by 3 clubs. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to hit me up in the messages, just drop me a message below the video and I will always try and get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.